Ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
Rachel Zegler thought Snow White would launch her into Hollywood royalty. Instead, she got mocked by South Park, roasted by The Simpsons, and now Jack Black just joined the party, and what he allegedly said left Rachel in tears. It happened at a Minecraft press stop. When asked about modernizing fairy tales, Jack Black laughed, then allegedly said, "Some people ruin a classic just to trend on TikTok. That's not storytelling, that's ego." The room went quiet. Everyone knew who he meant. Jack didn't name Rachel, but fans online sure did. TikTok lit up with edits. Clips of Rachel mocking the original Snow White were spliced next to Jack's quote. The audio got remixed into parody songs. Twitter, now X, Threads started trending with titles like "Jack Black just ended woke Disney in one sentence." Comments exploded with "Jack said what we were all thinking. He dragged her without saying a name. That's elite level." This is why Jack's a legend. He knows when to joke and when to call BS. Even meme pages got in on it, posting side-by-sides of Rachel twirling in an empty theater with Jack rocking out to a Minecraft premiere crowd. But the best part? Some fans joked that Jack Black just saved fairy tales. Because while Rachel gave interviews about burning the old story down, Jack was out here celebrating joy, simplicity, and what made those stories timeless to begin with. And behind the scenes, sources say Jack doesn't regret a thing. He's reportedly been frustrated with Hollywood performatives for years, especially actors who take legacy characters and make the story about themselves. But here's the thing, Rachel was already beefing with Jack before this moment. Months ago, Rachel allegedly rolled her eyes when asked about Minecraft, called it lowbrow, dismissed it as a kid's game turned cash grab. She thought Snow White had the deeper message, the more important story. In interviews, she spoke about challenging norms, redefining femininity, and fixing the outdated ideas of fairy tales. Meanwhile, Minecraft was being promoted with jokes, pixelated trailers, and Jack Black screaming into microphones like a rock star. She saw art, he saw fun. But here's what happened. Minecraft made $500 million in just days. Snow White lost $300 million and got yanked from theaters. And that wasn't just ironic, it was poetic justice. Because while Rachel was trying to teach audiences what fairy tales should be, Jack was reminding them what they used to love. The audiences spoke, and their wallets were loud. Critics began comparing the two films, even though they were completely different genres. The headlines wrote themselves, "Blocky movie beats woke princess." Minecraft crushes Snow White's reimagining. The villager outsold the queen. One meme showed Rachel holding up a fake Oscar while a Minecraft pig stole it behind her back. Even Minecraft fans, notoriously non-toxic, couldn't resist joining the conversation, joking that Steve did more for childhood nostalgia than Disney has in years. And Jack? He didn't clap back. He just smiled, played a plastic saxophone, and let the numbers talk. And Jack? He wasn't done sending messages. Jack Black isn't Hollywood elite. He's Hollywood real. He's always leaned into humor, honesty, and fan-first fun, and he hates when actors treat audiences like a political project. For 2 decades, Jack has played everything from rock stars to pandas to Bowser, and he's always done it with heart, not agendas. He's never tried to be the smartest guy in the room. He just wants to entertain people and not lecture them while doing it, and that's exactly why fans trust him. Sources close to the Minecraft team say Jack privately called Rachel's press tour embarrassing. Not just for her, but for the legacy of Snow White itself. They say he was baffled by the decision to attack the original story, especially while starring in its remake. In one quote making the rounds online, he allegedly joked, "If the prince is a stalker, maybe she should have stayed in the forest." Savage. Classic Jack. But it's not just jokes. Jack reportedly believes actors have a responsibility to the characters they play, especially when those characters are tied to childhood memories and decades of emotional connection. While Rachel spent her press tour tearing down fairy tales and turning the role into a personal platform, Jack was doing the exact opposite, showing up in costume, signing autographs, thanking Minecraft fans for still caring about a game that launched in 2009. Even off camera, he's known for being deeply respectful to his fan base. One viral clip from a press stop shows Jack hugging a fan dressed as Steve from Minecraft, joking, "You saved the world, now I'm just here for backup vocals." Fans love that, studios notice that, and in an industry tired of drama, ego, and activism over art, Jack is the kind of personality execs want more of, and Jack's not the only one talking. Studios aren't dragging Rachel publicly, but they're sure not calling her either. Sources say she's been removed from multiple casting shortlists. Deals with Netflix and Disney Plus have gone dead quiet. Even her PR team is shifting focus, whatever that means. One insider summed it up perfectly. She's not blacklisted, she's just not a good bet anymore. Hollywood is full of second chances, but not when you're trending for all the wrong reasons. Several high-profile actors have allegedly distanced themselves from Rachel, both on and off camera. Gal Gadot, who co-starred in Snow White, never once publicly promoted the film or defended Rachel during the backlash. Insiders say she refused to do joint interviews and cut ties early. Ben Shapiro, never one to hold back, called Rachel a spoiled activist who thinks she's a writer, director, and historian all in one. Candace Owens slammed her on X, formerly Twitter, posting, "This isn't feminism, this is narcissism wrapped in glitter." Even Rob Schneider, a former SNL comedian, joked during a podcast, "If Disney keeps remaking classics like this, I'll remake Deuce Bigalow just to restore balance." And while no one is publicly canceling Rachel, Hollywood operates on whispers. Casting directors don't take risks on controversy, they take risks on people who can sell tickets, not trigger think pieces. And while Hollywood moved on quietly, South Park went loud. Into the Pandaverse dropped a character that looked, spoke, and sounded exactly like Rachel. Same quotes, same tone, same "this Snow White doesn't need a man" energy. It was satire, but it hit like a documentary. The character in the episode was a strong, empowered lead who hijacked every classic narrative, fired male characters, and insisted her story was more important than entertaining. Sound familiar? Fans called it one of South Park's most surgical takedowns ever. Clips of Rachel's real interviews were stitched side by side with the episode, and the resemblance was painfully spot on. Even people who hadn't seen Snow White immediately recognized what South Park was mocking. One viral tweet said, "This isn't a parody, it's just Rachel Zegler with worse animation." TikTokers stitched the episode with side-by-side breakdowns. Reddit threads titled "Rachel Z Gets South Parked" top trending forums. Even YouTubers who rarely touch celebrity drama were suddenly covering it and agreeing with the roast. And Rachel, reportedly furious behind the scenes. Sources say her team contacted lawyers, PR firms, and even tried reaching out to the studio behind South Park, but there was nothing they could do. Parody is protected, and public interviews are fair game. One insider said Rachel was stunned that people laughed at the episode instead of sympathizing with her and her attempt to fix the damage. It became a meme instead. Rachel tried to take back control. She posted a TikTok of herself twirling alone in a theater with Snow White merch. She called it a special night. The internet called it a hostage video with popcorn. Comment sections were savage. She's the only one who showed up. This isn't a premiere, it's a punishment. That clip became the blueprint for South Park's final scene, and reportedly, it's also what pushed The Simpsons over the edge. But the damage didn't stop with TikTok. Just days later, Rachel went live on Instagram, and fans say it was a full-blown meltdown. She ranted about being misunderstood, said the world wasn't ready for her version of Snow White, and insisted the movie was ahead of its time. She even blamed misogyny and internet trolls for the backlash, but never once took responsibility for the interviews or the press tour. Clips from the live spread like wildfire. Reaction videos, duets, parodies. If the TikTok was awkward, the live was unhinged. Because next, the yellow gloves came off. According to leaks, The Simpsons are scripting an episode titled Snow Woke: The Reimagining. The main character, a parody named Rachel Z, who cancels her prince, hosts empowerment town halls, and cries on Krusty's talk show. She calls herself the most progressive princess in the land and replaces the 7 dwarfs with 7 non-binary visionaries of the forest. The episode even includes a subplot where she starts a cancel the castle campaign after finding out her ancestors were monarchs. Rachel allegedly found out and begged Fox to cancel the episode. They said no, and the writers apparently doubled down, even adding more direct nods to her TikTok twirl and red carpet quotes. Behind the scenes, producers called it the most brutal Disney roast since the Lady Gaga joke. One exec reportedly said, "If Rachel didn't want to be mocked, maybe don't give us so much to work with." But even that wasn't the final blow. Family Guy is reportedly working on their own Snow White takedown. Insiders say it includes a feminist princess with a podcast who sues the prince for non-consensual awakening and gets dragged by woodland creatures in the final scene. In another leaked plot point, she allegedly calls love a capitalist trap and bans mirrors for being too patriarchal. It's brutal, it's personal, and it's allegedly Seth MacFarlane approved. Writers are said to be pulling directly from Rachel's interviews, tweets, and even her awkward Instagram live meltdown for dialogue. One insider joked the script kind of wrote itself. Rachel's team is watching it all unfold and scrambling to stop it. Emails, legal threats, even quiet pressure from Disney insiders. None of it seems to be working, because once Family Guy starts dragging you, there's no coming back clean, and that's when legal threats started flying. Multiple sources say Rachel's team reviewed South Park's episode for legal action. Even though parody is protected speech, she's reportedly furious that her name is now linked to satire, not cinema. One producer put it bluntly: "You can't sue cartoons for making fun of your interviews." That's not how any of this works. But Rachel isn't just trying to stop one episode, she's allegedly hoping to shut them all down, including Family Guy and The Simpsons. But while she tries to rewrite the narrative, Jack Black keeps collecting wins. Rachel thought Snow White would be her Cinderella story. Instead, she became a cautionary tale. Her fairy tale flopped, her interviews became memes, her co-stars ghosted, and now even cartoon characters are dragging her back to the forest. Meanwhile, Jack Black, he's winning, he's laughing, he's making $500 million off of a movie based on square blocks. And for many fans, Minecraft, not Snow White, became the true storybook ending. So now the real question, did Jack Black go too far, or was he just saying what everyone else in Hollywood is too afraid to say? Let me know in the comments. I'll be reading every single one.